caught in the crossfire. It's caught in the
Oh, boy. Oh, snap. You're here. Are you ready? Are you excited? Are you just like anticipating things? Yo, it's your boy, T3. We got a full week of adventures. Oh, and did we mention that Madam Web drops Wednesday? Do we got an early release coming out? Oh, my Lanta, the things we got to discuss. But until then, pull up, boom, man.
I used to be so beautiful, now look at me. My actions are unbeautiful, it's clear to see. Come on and step out of the cage, there's any chapter, turn the page.
So where do I begin? What's this excitement of all these things that's coming up this week? Woo! Okay, first and foremost, your boy's a little bit out of breath. I don't know why. Just age and nutrition. That's all it is at this point. So now we was discussing Xmen yesterday. Hope you did catch the episode because we're going to discuss Xmen United today. I only had one major beef with this one. Just one big one. I mean, they had a lot of things going on, but for the most part, every story of it was doable. Like, it's okay to write your own thing. But you going to take a character, like Yuriko, and really, so you're like, wait, who the heck is Yuriko? Yuriko in the Xmen United she's a controlled mutant. She has these long, like, animanium nails, like claws, on her fingers that she uses as weapons. And so she's controlled by Stryker, who is one of the main villains in there, who is also apparently connected to Wolverine getting his antimanium laced to his body. Yeah, there was a lot happening right here because we get a little Wolverine history. We get a little Magneto backstory, even deeper. We go deeper into who's a Nightcrawler who comes in and shows up in this, which had a very exciting beginning, which was actually pretty dope how they used his powers because it kind of showed his abilities to the utmost. He was a man of faith, so they talked about that a lot. You can see the difference between him and Storm just based on how they were raised and how they saw things. Then you get to see how Jean Grey slowly becomes the Phoenix. Look, this is the first time they told the Phoenix story saga line, which was very interesting, and how they went about and did that. What else did we learn? We learned that, they did the whole triangle thing with Wolverine and Cyclops again. They continued that mannerism, which was still just a little awkward. And then they tried to throw in a little Mystique Wolverine thing with that, which was also very weird because she's transforming to all these different women and all the rest of this stuff. It was it was okay. You know what I'm saying? It was watchable. The whole Rogue, Pyro going evil, Iceman revealing himself to his family. It just had a lot of things going on. The whole basis of the X-Men was to discuss the diversity of people and how people react to things that are different from them, whether it's racism, bigotry, hatred. Like, this was like their way of dealing with the world issues, to like the hatred of the Jews, to the hatred of African Americans, to the hatred of Japanese, to the mistreatment of the Irish. Like, there was so many different ways to go about this. They use mutants as, hey, these are a new group of people and look how we're acting, kind of a thing. Well, with all that being said, Yuriko was one of my favorite villains of Wolverine. And so they decided to bring her in on this particular one. Why is she one of my favorites? Well, the comic book storyline and the Xmen 97, which we'll be getting pretty soon, if you watch the animated series, that storyline, they kind of did two different storylines. Well, they touched on it a little bit in the comic books, but the origin story is kind of twisted and turned. But even then, they ruined it in this movie. So Yuriko is the daughter of the scientist. I believe his name is Lord Darkwind. She's Japanese. And he was a Japanese scientist. And he actually created the method of how to bond antimanium to the human body, to the bones of the body. which is how Wolverine got the antimanium bones connected to him, because that scientist created the method for them to be able to do so, because he was a leading expert in this theory. Okay, so there comes a point to where Wolverine finds out that this scientist created this experimental piece on how he got that, which he's still a little ticked off about. Okay, but at the time he's in Japan, he falls in love with Yuriko. They're having a nice relationship and all the rest of this stuff, and he's in love with her, and then he finds out that is her father. You know what I'm saying? And so his anger outweighs his love, and he ends up killing her father. Well, because Japanese honor demands that you avenge your father or your loved one on that person, they became mortal enemies. And in doing so, she had her arms removed and put in cybernetic arms in there. She also had different parts of her body connected to antimanium so she could be just as indestructible as Wolverine, as well as enhancements of her hands to give her antimanium-like claws or nails so she can extend her fingers to help kill her opponent. And later on, you find out she's a part of the mutant DNA. She gets an alien technology that helps her get a healing factor so she can go on and on and on and make sure that she takes out the man, the myth, the legend, Logan. You know what I'm saying? So that is Yuriko as we know her. But in the X-Men origin story, she's just controlled by Stryker by using the brain fluid of his son. Yes, I said his son, who is a mutant, who has mind controlling abilities, to place on the skin of the person he wants to control, and he can do whatever he wants. He can mold your mind into the way he goes about it. So once again, they bring in Wolverine, who has no idea who she is, which technically, if this is based on after he loses him to amnesia, he didn't fall in love with her until after he was an adult and had moved on and was still trying to figure out portions of his life. And she was a part of the new faction after the young girl Rose, who we talked about a couple of days ago in the mountains when it was cold and it was 22 degrees. And she had died and all the rest of the stuff, and Sabretooth had killed her and all the rest of these things. Like Wolverine, every woman he falls in love with, it turns out to be a issue. Like, you just need to leave love alone. So with that being said, that was my biggest piece with the Xmen United. For the most part, the storyline was okay. Now, I like the Magneto. This is when I finally really have respect for Magneto, because he retuned Cerebro 2 to kill off humans. Now, that's the Magneto I know right there. He ain't trying to save no humans. He ain't trying to change no humans. He just wants to kill all of you. You know what I'm saying? That's when I was like, okay, this is Magneto. This is my boy. This is what I'm talking about right here. This is what we need right here. So, and then, you know, it was a whole piece where Professor X gets captured. They introduced Colossus, who you meet in the first Deadpool movie, which was a completely different Colossus. Deadpool makes those jokes about the different things that's going on, about the young Colossus, old Colossus, the X-Men mansion, and all the rest of these things. By the way, we know Deadpool and Wolverine is coming, which we'll be talking about that trailer that came up with the whole thing and everything. That was interesting. I finally saw the extended version to the trailer because I did not get to completely watch it during the Super Bowl. So I found it. I seen it. I am super interested in July. July is going to be a big time popping right here. With all that being said, there's so many different avenues that we can go with today. But that is X-Men United. My beef with it was the Yuriko portion of it. Because Yuriko was such a big portion of Wolverine's history, a big portion of what he was and how he is and how he sees things and how he does things and how he feels when it comes to the ladies of his life. Isn't it always the women who just changes portions of your heart? You know what I'm saying? They just completely just change it. But to be fair, he did kill her father. So, I mean, you can't completely get mad at the girl because she's like, yo, that was my dad. He may have been a jerk, but he's my jerk. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, we're going to move on to the next segment of this. Whew. Excuse me, I'll be right back. All right, my friends, so let's finish this out with this being said. Madam Web drops this Wednesday. Deadpool and Wolverine drops in July. I want to say those, I believe, are the only two Marvel cinematic movies that are coming out. I believe Xmen 97 will be dropping on Disney Plus fairly soon. From my understanding, I could be wrong, but from my understanding, it's supposed to come out before the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, so we should get it within the next 2.5 months. There's a whole bunch of things about Daredevil going on, a whole bunch of things about Punisher going on. There's just a lot happening. So let's stay tuned. Let's stay diligent in our day-to-day activities. Let's stay excited, people. I'm tired, but it's okay because we're here today anyway. And with that being said, if you see your mans in the streets, hit them with the beats. Hit them with a jingle jangle, baby. Jingle jangle. What?